last week. An incredible finish. Boric goes to the inside. That's the move. He takes the lead and they collide. And Boric goes down. Kaiser's going to take the win. What will happen this time? RacerTV is next. RacerTV coming your way from round 4 of the Can-Am Grand National Cross Country Series. We're in Union, South Carolina for the VP Racing Fuels Big Buck GNCC. Have our morning race riders out there right now, a 2-hour event. We'll do some very high speed and rough trails. And our pro race riders are already on the starting line. Jason Wygant here to give you the rundown. Chris Bithell there in the Can-Am looking for his first win of the year. And Walker Fowler, the rookie, trying to do the same thing as well. Everyone, of course, focused on your series points leader and 3-time and defending champion Chris Boric. Only one rider has beaten him so far this year. It's that man, Taylor Kaiser. The 25-year-old from Florida has finished second in this series. He was third last year. He really thought 2012 would be the year he could grab that elusive #1 plate, but he had to deal with a setback right before the season got underway. But he's determined to mount a comeback in the points. Let's get to know Taylor Kaiser.
Well, coming into this year, we were taking more preparations than we had last year. As we were working hard, been doing a lot of riding. Walker stayed at my house all winter. We were feeling really confident coming into the first race. I was riding as good as I ever had, probably even better. And then leading up to the race 5 days before, out doing some riding, just had a little get off in a corner and separated my AC joint. It kind of took me out of the first race. We went out and made a couple laps just to get some points, kind of, and try to keep us in the championship as much as possible. So we were able to salvage some points that first round, and it definitely hurt going out there and not be able to give it 100%, but it was the best thing for me to do. We took some treatments and things like that, and we're able to get back up there the next weekend. There is a lot of hype surrounding Walker. Young superstar. The kid won all the races last year. There should be a lot of hype around him. He definitely is. It's been his entry into the pro class has been highly anticipated, and I give him credit for what he's done. I don't feel like it's I'm hiding in the shadows or anything. I just think that there's a lot of hype around him, and it's good. It brings me attention as well. Everybody talks about Walker, but I'm not concerned. I kind of like to be that guy, kind of hiding in the back. So no, it doesn't really affect anything. Walker's a good kid, and I like working with him.
Walker Fowler, that's the young teammate of Kaiser, a 1-2 punch for that factory-backed Balance Racing Yamaha team, as they'll put Walker Fowler and Taylor Kaiser into competition against Chris Boric today. Lots of other riders that would like to knock that #1 Suzuki off the top spot. There's Boric on the yellow machine in the middle. He and Kaiser lined up next to each other, and remember, they collided in the last turn of the race last week in North Carolina, and Boric ended up going down. We'll see if there's any spillover today. Motorsport.com hole shot up for grabs, and it's going to go to Kaiser. So picking up where he left off into the #1 spot at the #3, and he's got his teammate Fowler right there with him on the #5, and not such a good start for Boric. And look at the dust the riders will have to deal with today as well. Although from what we saw with our amateurs on the track this morning, in the woods, a little more moisture, a little less dust. If you're Kaiser, dust is fine. That's going to be your friend. Dust these guys out trying to get away. There's Boric making moves already. That'll put him about 6th. But the Yamahas nailed the starts today. You've also got Jeff Pickens and Kevin Yoho up there. 1, 2, 3, 4, all blue machines. And everyone else, they're going to have a tough time seeing. They're going to have to make passes in the woods. And here you go. You can see the dust not nearly as much of a factor down here. And you see Kaiser will have to deal with a couple of drawbacks, actually, for leading this race. Most importantly, you've got to figure out which way the trail goes. not allowed to practice riding on these courses. The riders will walk it or mountain bike it in the morning. They'll check out the races that take place earlier in the day. But the first time you're going to put four wheels on this track is during the race. And Kaiser is trying to figure out the best lines through these mud holes, between these trees, with pressure being applied from behind. I believe that's Yoho in third and Brian Wolf coming through next on the JG Off-Road Honda. Wolf has great speed. He's had a tough go of it early this season. Hasn't gotten the results he wanted due to a hand injury he's dealing with, but he's definitely has shown the speed to lead laps. And maybe today could be the day to get a win. He's put himself in position. See the number 7, Jared McClure, trying to work forward, and we have not seen many glimpses of Adam McGill, who has also been a front runner most of the races the last couple of years. McGill is really going to have his work cut out for him in this dust. I believe Boric, Bithell, and McGill just came through. Then it's to 12 of Pickens, all trying to stay in contention. Hey, there you go. The famous Big Buck Creek jump. Lap 1 fans have already worked their way down here. They're cheering on Kaiser, Fowler, and Wolf. And those three have pulled away from everyone else. There's Yoho. Boric and Bithell coming through now. They've got their work cut out for them. They've got to put the hammer down. While the Yamaha teammates and the Honda try to get away. Kaiser just looks on his game at the moment. There's Wolf, keeping them honest. All right, Rocky Mountain helmet cam here on McGill. Woo! Almost came off the machine, hand came off the bar, now a big uphill. And I don't think he's even getting roosted. You're hearing rocks getting kicked around. That's just the nature of racing cross country. He's kicking up his own roost. McGill, not the good start, but he has not had good starts this year and has still been able to work his way forward. That should be fun to watch, but look at this guy. The Florida native, Kaiser, riding this track like South Carolina is his backyard. He has left the field behind. A solid run by his rookie teammate, Fowler, as well in second. And there's Wolf, always wide open. That guy is fun to watch. And it looks like another pass made by Boric. He has gotten around Yoho. Stay with us.
The Can-Am Renegade 1000 XXC with the most powerful engine in the industry. The Outlander 1000 XT with a redesigned chassis for unequal trail riding. The Commander 1000 Limited, the most equipped, luxurious side-by-side in the industry. The facts say it's the most advanced lineup out there. But the ride says it all.
RacerTV is brought to you by Can-Am, by AMSOIL, and by Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Welcome back to RacerTV. Great afternoon so far for Balance Racing Yamaha. That man, Taylor Kaiser, leads, and his teammate Walker Fowler in the number 2 spot. About a 20-second gap between them. That is a huge lead early in one of these races. For Kaiser, Chris Boric up to 3rd on the Maxxis Yoshimura machine. And Boric, nice job cutting across those ruts to prevent getting high-centered. He knows it's a long race. Boric often doesn't get the lead until late. Adam McGill has climbed all the way up to 4th after a terrible start, dealing with the dust and all. And this is Yoho and Bithell. What happened to Brian Wolf? Chris Bithell on the Can-Am makes the pass. Wait a minute! Just like that, Kaiser is out. We've got one of the Can-Am Outlanders. Gonna give him a tow. That's the track crew. And after building up a near 20-second lead, just like that, his machine has stopped running. And now his teammate Fowler is out. They were running 1-2 and looked so solid. And now both are out with mechanical problems. Let's track down Kaiser.
Basically, we got off to a great start. Bike fired right off the line. We were able to get out front, pull a decent-sized lead. Was feeling good, and just came around the right-hand corner, and bike started feeling low on power, and something like going the top end. We're not really sure what caused it, but bike just kind of died, and I ran back, and they pulled me in. So here we are. Tough weekend.
And Fowler is out too. Boric inherits the lead. And the suspicion might actually be a problem with the ECU on the machine that controls the fuel injection and obviously everything else. that keeps that thing running. So it is now up to McGill to try to challenge Boric, and Chris Bithell up to third. Do the best to close the gap. What a shakeup. Here is Yoho, who has had a good run of it early on his Yamaha. And Wolf, the report is that Wolf and Fowler had actually tangled earlier, and that's what dropped Wolf from a very close third to now a few spots back. Now Wolf and Fowler used to be best buds when they were battling for the XC2 championship, which is one notch below this a few years ago, but they have had some run-ins the last couple of weeks. Wolf just going to try to get to the finish line today. All right, let's pick up the action here as you see Bithell in third. He has closed the gap on McGill and Boric, but having a tough time finding the right way across this ravine. A little bit smoother line there from Yoho in fourth. Here comes Wolf. And Wolf handles it no problem, so he's trying to put that JG Off-Road Honda back toward the front. And then it should be Jared McClure, the number 7, the National Guard back, Yoakley Racing Honda. How about McGill here? Privateer effort. We've been talking about it the last couple of races. He used to be the teammate of that man, Bithell, on the Can-Am. Now Bithell is a solo effort in this class. McGill doesn't look like he has dropped off much from Boric, and his performances this year while dialing in a new machine have been pretty solid. Would love to get a victory today, though. Boric actually slowing down a bit to acknowledge the fans and then grabs a handful and almost goes down on the top of that hill. Bithell is the man on the move. Does a great job to stay high up on that off-camber, the right side. Yoho able to do the same. And perhaps the third, fourth, fifth place riders, they could benefit from seeing the leaders in front of them and following their lines when they're good and picking new ones when it's not so good. And you can tell Boric knows that they're closing. He has clearly picked up the pace in this section. Bithell is right there. So he has really done a great job coming from behind. All three of these riders, Boric, McGill, and Bithell, are not known for their starts, but they'll take the lead if the Yamahas are going to drop out. Now time for a fuel stop for Boric and McGill. Boric will look over his shoulder, takes off. And McGill is still there, a much slower stop for him. All that ground that he made up, he just lost, and here comes Bithell, getting him in sight.
When it's time to get ready to ride and you need gear, it's time to go to RockyMountainATV.com. With the largest selection of ATV parts, apparel, and accessories, we have what you need at deep discounts. We have a huge state-of-the-art facility that ensures your order ships out quickly with accuracy that's second to none. Most items ship free and arrive at your door in 3 days or less. Visit our industry-leading website, RockyMountainATV.com today for the best prices, quickest shipping, online support, and largest in-stock selection around. RockyMountainATV.com. Get ready.
RacerTV is brought to you by Can-Am, by AMSOIL, and by Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Highlights of our Can-Am morning race here at the Big Buck. It was a great day to go GNCC racing. 2 hours of competition for our utility machines. Big hole shot here for who else? The 990 of Zach Sikowski. That guy is a hole shot master. This is where the 4x4 machines earn their money, down here in these ravines, the mud holes. Great battle in 4x4 open today between Sikowski, Michael Swift, and Brian Buchanan. That's the usual suspects there. Buchanan able to grab the early lead in that division. The women's class also races in the morning. Here's Tracy Checo getting out to the early lead on the factory Yamaha number 202. Normally that class incredibly competitive, but on this day, Checo had everyone's number. Here's Angel Atwell on the Honda trying to keep her in sight, but Checo is just too strong on this day, and the rider from Shamokin, Pennsylvania, who has won a ton of these things, probably more in the women's class than anyone else, wins again. She would also take third overall on time. Other classes to watch, U2, Clifton Beasley, yet another win on his Can-Am Renegade. That is generally the machine of choice in the unlimited utility division, and there is Beasley just lighting it up. And in making that machine look very light, considering how heavy it is. But the real rider to watch here, 997, Marshall Goings in the sport class. Smaller engine, little less power, young kid, doesn't care, not intimidated at all, and he would take the class and overall win on adjusted time. Dave Simmons, our super senior rider, would take second overall with Checo in third. Great racing this morning, and congrats to Buchanan and Beasley for winning their utility classes on the Can-Ams. Back to our afternoon race, Borich continues to lead McGill. Chris Bithell in third. Could be a game of pit stops. I don't know what Chris Bithell does, but the guy is always able to stretch it an extra lap compared to everyone else as far as the pit stops are concerned. I don't know if he's going to try that strategy again today. Borich takes a look over his shoulder, just trying to manage the lead over McGill. And look at Bithell, a nice short line there on the inside. That's legal. You got to stay within 25 feet of the main race line. And look, he is right there. So is McGill. Might have lost to 2 Yamahas from this one, but we're still set for a great race. 3 riders duking it out in the second half of a 2-hour battle in South Carolina. This section has proved tricky to try to find the right line. And normally Borich's strategy is to not lead at this point. He would rather save his good lines for the last lap. Is he tipping his hand to try to hold McGill and Bithell off, or will he actually let them by? So much strategy is required to win these 2-hour races. And look at Jared McClure now up to 4th in the National Guard Honda, making a bid on that top 3. Looks like Borich has now pulled it out just a little bit. We're approaching the end of lap 2 as they hit that Big Buck Creek jump, and they're saying it should be a 4-lap race, about 11 miles around, and the lap times mean you get 4 laps in the 2-hour allotted time. Look at McClure, that number 7, digging deep, trying to get the leaders. Here's the big uphill. Borich and McGill still going all the way to the rider's left, and it looks like Bithell doing the same now. Last time around, Bithell went all the way to the inside. And that's what McClure does. It is like a game of tag through the woods here. Every time it looks like Borich is safe, his pursuers close in, then he pulls back away, then they close back up on him, and all the while I think McClure might be the fastest rider on the track. Or it might be this guy. McGill is taking over the lead and a little bit of the high side of the fans. This guy is fun to watch. He's got the number 1 spot, so from just about last on a track that has some dust, yeah, get the thumbs up, man. You got to be happy about that. McGill into the lead, although it's not panic time at all for Borich, as I suspected. He doesn't really like to run the point position all the way through, but it's down to the last lap as we begin lap 4, and McGill, if he can run error-free, he can win this thing. But you know, Borich is going to have a couple of trick lines picked out to make passes for the last lap, and there is Bithell in hot pursuit in 3rd.
Any engine, any season, at home, at the track, or on the trail. AMSOIL, the first in synthetics.
RacerTV is brought to you by Can-Am, by AMSOIL, and by Rocky Mountain ATV MC. Battle is on here, last lap of the VP Racing Fuels Big Buck GNCC. There are your leaders, Adam McGill and Chris Borich. They put a little bit of a gap now on the 3rd place rider, Chris Bithell. So it could be a one-on-one duel, and now Borich has stolen the lead. How many times has he made these passes on the last lap? He led for a while. McGill was able to get him just before the white flag came out. Wait a minute, don't count Bithell out. He has got some lines tucked away. He's been shading further and further to the inside in that ravine every time around. And it might allow him to get back in sight of the leaders. There's Borich, there's McGill. Now McGill is going to have to find a line here this last lap to make the pass. Does he have a spot picked out? All right, it's going to come down to fitness at this point. We're about an hour and 50 minutes in. These guys got to be hurting their legs, their arms, their back. Their hands are probably blistered. You got Bithell closing the gap and applying pressure. It's a game of wills right now. And there's no doubt how badly these three want it. 3 different machines, teams, and manufacturers represented. Bithell and McGill yet to get wins this year. They've won plenty of races in their career, though they know how to do it. But to rip the lead away from Boric in the last lap is a tall order. Looks like Boric pulling away from McGill a bit there, but I think the speedster from West Virginia might have something up his sleeve down the stretch. And he's closed right back into the field section. Does he have room or time to make a pass? You see him shading, cutting inside, outside in these corners. Trying to find a clean line and maybe some running room. Boric going to try to keep that Suzuki as wide as possible. Braking as late as he can as they clip the apexes. Now back into the woods for the last time. McGill is right there. Great racing down the stretch. Too little, too late. Checkered flag is out. Chris Boric wins again. 2 seconds behind is McGill, and they were able to put a little distance on Bithell down the stretch. Here are the AMSOIL results. Nice job, Brian Cook, the veteran, taking 5th today. Let's talk to Boric about his win and the troubles for his competition.
Yeah, we got off to a decent start, a lot better than last week. We were probably mid-pack, and it was definitely tough trying to come through to dust. It was real dry and dusty here, but definitely worked out in the end for me. It's definitely kind of a bummer for those guys. I mean, I always want those guys out there, and they're always fun to race with, and definitely the competition's there. But I mean, that's part of racing. You gotta build these bikes to make it 2 hours, and it sucks. But we'll see if they hopefully they'll keep their stuff together for the next race.
And a big bite in the series standings for Kaiser and Fowler. No points today, and Boric pulling away from McGill and Bithell in the standings. Time for the Can-Am race recap. We'll show you how this one broke down. It was all Yamaha up front. The Balance Racing team looked set for a dominant run as Taylor Kaiser and Walker Fowler pulled away. And then both stopped running at nearly the exact same time. That would leave Chris Boric and Adam McGill in the 1st and 2nd place positions. Hot pursuit, the number 4 Can-Am of Chris Bithell. Those 3 were close all day long. And it was anyone's guess who was going to take the win. In fact, McGill was able to make the pass on Boric. And as the white flag came out, it looked like he might deliver his first win on his privateer team. But no, on the last lap, Boric makes the pass. McGill did everything he could to try to get him back down the stretch. 2 seconds, the final margin of victory. Another win for the channel. Congratulations to Chris Boric. For everyone at RacerTV, I'm Jason Wygant. Thanks for watching.